Okay, here we go. Very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Suhaimi from BEX Asia, which is organized, of course, by RX in Singapore. Thank you for taking the time today to attend our 10th masterclass of the year. And we are really excited today to have today's masterclass to be presented by Nippon Paint on the topic of shielding your building, the importance of waterproofing, and choosing the right products. I know it's been a very hot week in Singapore last week, but that doesn't mean we don't receive our fair share of rain. So I guess this is a very important topic, as seen by the number of people registered and are joining this masterclass here today. So with us today, we have Mr. Eugene Ang from Nippon Paint, who has over 20 years of experience in the building and construction industry in Singapore and Southeast Asia. Mr. Ang has acquired vast knowledge in waterproofing and drainage systems and specifications in Singapore and ASEAN. He currently helms Nippon Paint Singapore waterproofing team, responsible for introducing suitable waterproofing systems to architects, contractors, and builders. So, Eugene, can I welcome you to our masterclass and have you turn on your microphone as well as your webcam. There we have. Hi, Eugene. How are you doing today?
Yeah. Hi, I'm good. Thanks, Suhaimi. How are you?
I'm doing good too. Enjoying a bit of the better weather this week compared to last week, yeah?
Yeah, of course. But it's still very sunny,
ladies and
like you said
gentlemen,
earlier.
we're going to start the masterclass soon. But before that, a bit of a housekeeping announcement. Should you have any questions during this masterclass, please do use the Q&A function within the Zoom webinar in order to submit your questions, and we will address the questions at the end of the webinar. With that said, Eugene, it's all over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Suhaimi. Give me a few moments for me to set up my screen. And okay, I believe my screen is all good. All of you can see.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Okay. All right. So thanks for the introduction again, Suhaimi, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join in today's webinar. So for me, I will touch very briefly on waterproofing solutions for building structures. And with that, let me start. So why do we need waterproofing? Why buildings you need waterproofing? That's because buildings are constructed mainly of one of these two, either concrete or timber with the new construction method of timber. So either one, whether is it concrete or is it timber, both of them absorbs water. And for concrete per se, in Singapore, most of our buildings are concrete. Water causes corrosion. So that is why not only do waterproofing prevents the water from coming into your unit and make your life uncomfortable or start mold and growth, but also a bigger problem that we will need to address is definitely corrosion. So with that, what are the sources of water ingression? So there are 5 main sources of water ingression. First one, from the rain, right? Secondly, wet areas, especially in Singapore, with our high rise, we get a lot of water seepages from neighboring units through the wet areas. Third, from your MEP, mechanical, electrical, and also your plumbing. Fourth, your irrigation. And last but not least, your below ground structures. So, okay, water by itself, it's not going to cause a leakage. So in order for a leakage to occur, these 3 conditions must be present. First, definitely water, which came from the 5 sources which I shared earlier. Secondly, there must be a driving force. So that means this water must be moved along by some type of force, which includes wind and gravity for above grade envelope components, and also hydrostatic pressure or capillary action for below grade components. Finally, and most importantly, there must be a breach in the envelope in order for this water and the driving force to actually push the water into the habitable areas, for example. So let's look at the 5 main driving forces. In the box in red, these are the driving forces mainly found in your superstructures, such as gravity, surface tension, and also your wind. And the one in the box in green, capillary action and hydrostatic pressure. These are mainly for your substructures. So let's quickly look at these 5 main driving forces. The first one, gravity. So gravity is mainly where you find gravity and where normally gravity acts in when there is a water seepage. It's mostly in your flat roofs, your balconies, e-decks, and your walkways. So for above grade envelope components, horizontal areas are very prone to gravitational forces and should not be designed to be completely flat. That's why if you see, we recommend a minimum of 2% slope. So water that's collected in this area must be drained away from structure as quickly as possible, and in the areas that I've mentioned earlier. Right. Secondly, a driving force will be a surface tension. This surface tension is the momentum that occurs when water moved by gravity approach a change in your building plane, like your face of your brick to lintels, and clings to the underside of the horizontal surface, continuing with momentum into the building, but adhering itself to the surface through this tension. Right. So this can be prevented by drip edges or groove cuts. So surface tension, if it's still quite too technical, just think of it like your teapot. Sometimes when you pour your tea out of your teapot, instead of going to your cup, it actually flows backward through the tip and back to your teapot. So that is what we mean by surface tension. Thirdly, wind. So when wind is present in a rainstorm, envelopes become increasingly susceptible to water infiltration. So besides the water being driven directly into envelopes by wind currents themselves, wind also can create sufficient air pressure that create hydrostatic pressure in the facade that can actually force water upwards and over your envelope components. So again, similar to surface tension, flashing is often used to prevent this phenomenon from causing water penetration into your structure. The fourth, where we move to the substructure, example, your basement. Okay, so first one will be the capillary action. So capillary action occurs in situations where water is absorbed into an envelope substrate by a wicking action. This situation occurs most with masonry and concrete portions of envelope at or below grade levels. So these materials, concrete, for example, they have a high number of capillary voids within their composition that results in this wicking action that's absorbing water. So this is very, very similar in limentums, where you, like a sponge. So no matter how dense your sponge is, as long you put it in contact with water, it will start absorbing the water. Very, very same for your concrete. Next, hydrostatic pressure. So hydrostatic pressure most commonly affects your below grade portions of the envelope that are subjected to groundwater. Hydrostatic pressure on an envelope is created by the weight of the water that's above the point. That example, the height of water due to its weight creates pressure on the lower areas. That's what we refer to as hydrostatic pressure. So this pressure can be significant, particularly in below grade areas where water table is near the surface or rises to the surface during heavy rainfall. So where then, now that we know that areas that we need to, the driving forces of the water, where do we apply waterproofing? So three main areas that we apply, or how we apply, will be firstly, the positive side. Second, the negative. Third will be a blind side. So in all waterproofing, positive side will be the most preferred method. So with positive side, as you can see here, it means we protect the envelope, we protect the structure as the first line of defense. That means the water that's coming in will be protected or stopped by your waterproofing before it enters the structure. Negative side will be the other way around, where it's applied internally, and when water is coming into your structure, it actually being absorbed by your structure first before it's being stopped in the inside. Thereby, for waterproofing, it's always, in best scenarios, we will always apply on a positive side. So let's look at some of the areas where we do waterproofing. Firstly, below grade waterproofing. So what is our main concern on below grade waterproofing? So waterproofing of below grade structures, they are critical not only to protect not only your structure, but also the assets and the people that's housed in that structure. So architects, engineers, and also waterproofing, experienced waterproofing applicators and suppliers, we need to come together and ensure that the waterproofing system is optimally designed and specified to serve this purpose. One of the code of practice which we can refer to will be BS, British Standard 8102. So this is a code of practice for protection of below ground structure against water from the ground. I will not touch on more on this detail because if I'll go to this is a topic that will take up another 1 hour just by itself. So it's just for your the audience knowledge today that this is one of the core practice where you can refer to when designing waterproofing for below grade. Next, we go to wet area waterproofing. So in wet area waterproofing, right, especially high-rise Singapore. So BCA, Building and Construction Authority, BCA conducted a survey on private residential buildings that is less than 5 years old, indicated that most incidents of water leakage occurred at the floors and walls of toilets and kitchens. The waterproof barrier not only provides a watertight seal, but also to prevent condensation and dampness under tiles, which can penetrate your wood, plaster, and your brickworks. So some of these next few slides you'll see to the internal wet areas. What you see here is, to give credit, is all from BCA, from Building Construction Authority, in their good industry practice. Okay, so wet to dry area interface, as you can see here. So when the red one, the one in red, it's your waterproofing coating. So from wet to dry area, that's always good to have an overlap of 150 mm. And if you have a drop design, this is how you actually do it. Same thing, from the wet to the dry is also extend up 150 mm to the dry area. Okay. For upturns, where to all your wet areas except shower, all your upturns will be 300 mm dressed up. And for your shower area will be minimum of 1.8 meters or to the full height of the shower area. And for pipe penetrations on the upturns or even downturns, so we will dress up or down to the pipes. Next, I move on to roof and also for green roof waterproofing. So the main concern for roof and green roofs, right? Roofs are subjected to forces of nature on a daily basis. They are subjected to UV, heat from the sun, wind, rain, hail, M&E services or vibrations, food, and also vehicle traffic. So roof experience expansion and contraction due to the vast temperature differences each day. Hence, the waterproofing material proposed must be proven to withstand these conditions. Okay. There are types of roof in Singapore. This is very common in Singapore. I would say a lot of our roofs here are inverted roof. So what are inverted roofs? Inverted roofs is where the membrane is actually under the insulation. If we can look at the diagram on the left, the one in orange represents the insulation, and the one in black below it is it represents the membrane. So membrane that is protected under the insulation, they are actually in a way protected from climatic and mechanical abuse, and the temperature of the membrane stays within a narrow interval thanks to the insulation above it. We also have metal roofs, right? So there are metal roofs with example standing seam. There are also metal roofs where on top of it, as you can see on the picture on your right, it's with the membrane. So the membrane in this instance is actually exposed, and it will have to be mechanically fastened to the metal roof, as you can see from the detailed drawings on the left. So the fastening density of the fastener and also the insulation fastener, this will be calculated. So if and every project is different. So if you do have a metal roof and you are going for this construction, get in touch with me, get in touch with my team here, and we will actually do up the whole fastening density for you, depending on the area, depending on where your building is, and also depending on the height and also the width that is expected in that area. Okay, we also, in Singapore, we have more and more green roofs. So in Singapore, mainly, we have intensive and extensive green roof. So don't worry about the technical terms like intensive, extensive. For your easy understanding, extensive green roofs is where you have roofs that is not meant for pedestrian traffic. It's for aesthetic purpose. And for intensive green roof, you can actually walk on it, right? So that is the easiest way to remember. One you can walk, one is only for maintenance. Okay, next. Now I move on to the types of waterproofing products that are available in the market to actually address the areas which I mentioned, from the roof, green roofs, to the wet areas, and also to your basements. Okay, types of waterproofing. First one, there is a waterproofing admixture. So this is added into the concrete at the time of patching. So in the market, there are two main types of admixture. First one is hydrophobic, also known as pore blocking. The second one is hydrophilic, also known as crystallization. So let's look at each one of them. So hydrophobic pore blocking, they are mainly supplied in a liquid form. How it actually works, it actually coats the capillary network in the concrete with water-resisting polymers. And the downside of this is that where each time there is a hydrophobic admixture being added, we will need to alter the original ready-mix concrete mix design. And hydrophobic does not offer self-healing properties. Any cracks will actually affect the waterproofing abilities. Next, hydrophilic, which is crystallization, normally supplied in powder form. So there are crystal growths in the capillaries in the presence of water, as you can see on the diagram on the right. So all these are actually crystal growths once there is in contact with water. So it does not alter the original ready-mix design. So whatever concrete mix that we receive from the ready-mix supplier, we will not do any modification other than to add in additional dose of the crystallization admixture into the original concrete mix design. It is self-healing, and to a certain extent, it actually improves your compressive strength, although it's just marginally. The downside of this is that the duration of the self-healing is actually not defined. Okay, next, I move on to preformed membranes. So preformed membranes are supplied in rows, come in rows. So there are many types of preformed membranes in the market. Example, SPS modified bitumen, APP modified bitumen, which is touched on. Then we have thermoplastics, which consists of PVC, TPO, FPO. These are the thermoplastic family. Thermostatic will be like EPDM. And also we have HDP, HDP outward bond membrane, bentonite membrane, and also butyl-based membrane. So again, let's look at each and every one of them very quickly. So SPS modified bitumen membrane, yeah, it's like you can also call it like a factory assembled build-up membrane, because you have your membrane, you have your reinforcement after that, followed by the bitumen again, right? SPS is rubber. So by adding SPS into the bitumen, you create a rubberized bitumen that provides elasticity. And on top of it, on the facer, you have a thin layer of HDP cross-laminated film that provides the tensile strength to the membrane, right? The downside of it is that it is not UV resistant unless it's with a protective surface, and it is also not trafficable. APP is basically athletic polypropylene. So earlier on, SPS is rubberized membrane. APP is basically a plasticized membrane. So we have a plastic bitumen that is that provides high temperature tolerance. As you can see, it's basically using a torch, open fire, open flame to actually melt the surface to actually adhere it. Right? It is economical. That's the upside of it. Economical and pedestrian trafficable. You can walk on the membrane itself. The downside, it has low elongation, And during application, there is a risk of fire, and you require a skilled applicator for the application. Third, we come to thermoplastic, PVC first, polyvinyl chloride. So for PVC and also TPO, right? Both of these are under the thermoplastic. A lot of their properties are basically the same with only slight differences, right? Let's talk about the similarity first. So for thermoplastic, it will soften when it's heated with a hot air gun. Actually, you can weld them together. Right? So there's no open flame, just use of hot air. It's normally in single ply. That means one single sheet of membrane will do. You do not need two or more sheets. It's heat resistant. It has excellent low temperature flexibility. And some of them are actually UV resistant. And some of them are also root resistant. The downside, it does not have self-healing capability. So any puncture in the membrane will have to be repaired. And for PVC, it is not compatible to bitumen, polystyrene, and other types of plastic. So you need a separation layer before your insulation comes in. TPO-wise, it is tough. The membrane itself is rigid, so it's very hard to detail. But it is compatible to bitumen, polystyrene, right? So depending on the client's requirement, either one of these can be chosen. Next, thermostatic is the EPDM membrane. Okay. EPDM is UV resistant, highly elastic. If you have the sample and you can touch it, pull it, it's like rubber band. It's really very elastic. Right? It has very long service life, 50 years, not a problem. And the beauty of EPDM is normally customizable size. So while standard membranes could be 1 meter width, 2 meter width, EPDM, they can give you a 4 meter, 5 meter, 6 meter. It's really customizable to your projects. So that will actually reduce your seams. Right? The downside, it has very low tear resistance. It is, once there is a tear, it's very easy for it to tear further from the initial one. It's not as tough in terms of tear resistance compared to TPO or even PVC. Okay, next we have HDP, upward bond membrane. This is a blind side application. So earlier on where I touched on positive waterproofing, that is provided the workers that is applying the waterproofing can assess the concrete structure after concreting is done. But when you have zero line construction, right, where the example CBP or even diaphragm wall, there is no way for the workers to actually go outside the diaphragm wall or CBP to actually do the waterproofing. So in this type of cases, instead of construction techniques, we use adopted positive side of waterproofing where we use a blind side. That means when we put the membrane before the concrete pour. So once you pour the concrete, the membrane will actually adheres itself to the structural concrete, creating a type of positive waterproofing, which we call blind side. Right? Okay. It has very, very high puncture resistance, being HDPE but resin, and lateral water migration resistant. So it sticks itself very well to the concrete structure. So do not need to be afraid that if there is a puncture, water will start to move around and you will be chasing water. The downside, it is more expensive compared to SPS membrane. And being HDP, it is also tough, it's rigid, and very difficult to detail. Next, I go on to liquid applied membrane or coatings. So liquid applied, again, there is a wide range of products available from polyurethane, polyurea hybrids, polyurethane hybrids. You have acrylic hybrids, and so on and so forth. Again, let's look at each and every one of them. So for polyurethane, there are two main PUs in the market. One is aliphatic, the other one is aromatic. Again, not to worry too much on the technical words like aliphatic or aromatic. Just remember, aliphatic gives you the best UV resistance and color stability, but the downside that it is expensive. For aromatic wise, it's commonly available, it's economical, but it is not UV resistant. It tends to turn yellow upon exposure to UV. Next, we have acrylic. So acrylic coating actually provides one of the best UV resistance as compared to its cost, right? Many types of color available. So you name it, the common colors would be like red, white, green, clay colors, copper. So we can apply also to many types of substrates such as concrete, metal roofs, and also clay tiles. The downside of acrylic is that it is not really suitable for ponding water. So let's say you have a total flat roof, flat area. We will not propose acrylic because if there is a prolonged ponding of water, acrylic tends to brittle and it will fail prematurely. Then we have bitumen modified. So bitumen is economical and you can actually modify, why you call it modified, because you add in with others. So example, you can have polyurethane bitumen, you can have acrylic bitumen as well. Then for wet areas, we have the acrylic cementitious. So this is a two-part where you have powder and also liquid, right? So it's commonly used for wet areas, potable water tanks, and also swimming pools. It adheres because of its nature of acrylic and cementitious. It adheres to every cement-based substrates. So do not need to worry that any adhesion problem in the future. It will definitely adhere. And being acrylic itself, it also adheres to your PVC pipes. For example, for in your wet areas or in your swimming pools, your pipes, your incoming and outgoing pipes are PVC. So no issue for the product to actually adhere itself. Right? The downside of this product will be it's not suitable to be exposed. It has a lower tensile strength and lower elongation compared to others such as PU. Okay, then we also have spray applied membranes or coatings. So spray applied here, I'm referring to the hot spray, where the products, whether is it polyurethane, polyurethane, or even the hybrids, they are heated up in a machine and in a plural machine such as Krakow. And after that, you use a spray gun to actually spray. Okay? So a hot spray system, whether it's polyurethane or polyurethane, or even the hybrids, generally they are very fast cure. So it can, after spraying, it can cure in 12 seconds. So in 12 seconds, when you take out the membrane, it already forms the film. Right? It provides really high tensile strength. It has high crack bridging as well. So normally for liquids, be it PU or acrylic, the crack bridging is around 2 millimeters. For hot spray, you can go up to 6 or even more. So they have a really much better crack bridging abilities compared to the standard hand apply. As with all liquids, it's seamless. There is no joints to it, and it's low odor. Okay, the downside for hot spray apply, you require a skilled applicator to conduct the application. You need to invest in a special equipment. And because it's spray by spray, there tends to be overspray. So you need to actually ensure and protect the surrounding area from the overspray. The product is expensive and it is time consuming for small areas. Okay, while the first line here I said very fast cure, 12 seconds. And the last line here I said time consuming for small areas. Am I contradicting myself? No. Okay, let me explain. To spray the coating, it cures in 12 seconds, yes. But for you, because this is a hot spray, so you need to put either, depending on the machine, you need to have the heater to heat up the product before you spray. The heating up itself can take you like from half an hour to an hour, right? So the waiting time is there. So if let's say yours is just a very small area, To heat up, you take another 1 hour. After that, to wash the gun is another 1 hour. So it is really not economical in this sense if the area is small. So if you have a large area, then yes, this product will do a much faster job compared to the standard liquid applied. Okay, next, we have waterproofing ancillaries. So complementary products such as water stops, where we apply to construction joints, grout hoses, also to construction joints. We also have drainage sheets. So other than waterproofing, there's also a drainage where, example, in a CPP wall construction, you can actually use a drainage sheet to actually drain out, channel out the water safely to your drain, right? And tips, accessories where you need, for example, for your the change in angle from slab to wall. So these are the tips available. Okay, so what I've covered earlier on were the generals in the market. Now I'll just quickly touch on what Nippon Paint has. Okay, so this is an overview of Nippon Paint's waterproofing product. As you can see, from the roofs to intermediate floors, green roofs, swimming pool, ground slab to the basement. We have the complete solutions, different type of products to suit different requirements, to suit different type of budget as well. So for roof itself, you can see here, just roofs, Nippon Paint offers a wide range of products from preform membranes for conceal and expose it. We also have preform membrane that is touch applied. We have liquid applied coatings, again for conceal or expose. We also have spray applied coatings. Next, if you are designing a roof garden, we do have the product that is root resistant, because when you're talking about roof gardens, you need to ensure that the roots from your plants, from your trees, do not puncture through your waterproofing membrane. Hence, these are the products that we offer in the market from preform membranes, from liquids, from spray, and also for drainage. For wet areas, we have two main products to offer. The first one will be a rubber coating. The second one is actually a flexible cementitious coating. So the two differences, why is there two? So basically, one is cementitious, one is non-cementitious, and these two products are actually listed in HDB as well. Okay, next I move on to basement. So basement, when it comes to basement slab or on the ground, right? We offer you preform membrane, which is self-adhesive bitumen. We have two types. We have preform membrane, which is an upward bond, which is also the blind side waterproofing, which I mentioned earlier. So we have two of them. We have liquid applied coatings for conceal and exposed, but most of your basement are not exposed, so mainly for conceal, and also spray applied. We also have admixtures for the basement and also drainage products. Okay, so for us, Nippon Paint, besides providing products or just sales, we are one step further. We also provide specification service to owners or even to architects. So we will provide written specifications. We will provide the architects demarcation on plans drawings, detailed drawings, product or our color samples, and budgetary costing. So this is a sample of our written specification. As you can see, three colors. The one in blue, this is section 1. These are generals such as surface requirements and what submittals, etc. These are covered in the section 1. The one in green is section 2. We indicate the system build-up, such as the number of coats, number of primers, and what is build up to each individual area. So you have build up for the roof, you have build up for the planters, and so on and so forth. And in the third one, the one in red, we will list the product specifications, features, and also the performance. We provide, without obligations, demarcation plans to the architects that we indicate color-coded will indicate which area will use what type of product that is mentioned in the specs. So the specs, the demarcation plan, and also, last but not least, the detailed drawings will actually be a customized solutions to your project needs. So it's a project by project. I've come to the end of today's webinar. So this is my contact details, and I believe Suhaimi is now open to Q&A, right?
Yes, Eugene, thank you very much for that. Very informative. You went through quite a fair list of different materials and application users, right? So we actually have quite a fair bit of questions from the audience when they were registering, and I see we also have 3 questions from the live audience. So what I'll do is, Eugene, I'll take some of the questions from that was submitted before the webinar started, right? And let's go with the first one. How can we stop water penetration through walls for old building? This is, I guess, important. We have a lot of old building stock in Singapore. And what are the latest methods that can address such issues?
Okay, for old buildings, the question is quite general, but so I try to answer the best I can. Okay, old buildings, if let's say your walls can be repainted, is accessible to be painted over, one of the products that you can use will be the acrylic waterproofing coating. So instead of just paint, use an acrylic, and acrylic comes in many colors. So you can use acrylic in replacement of your paint, so that not only it provides you aesthetically pleasing, it also can address the water seepages. But then again, because the question is quite open, I mean, we need to really pinpoint where is the water penetration from. So one thing that homeowners or even architects or MA, what you all can do is you also check the sealants, such as your window sills, that they are in good condition. And if let's say those are not possible and you only can repair it on the internal side, then one of the solutions that you can use will be to apply a slurry type of slurry applied crystallization admixture. So that is done on the internal side.
So it's quite dependent on the situation in that case.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
And I think related to this question about old buildings, right? Someone has asked, can waterproofing guarantee be specified to 20 years?
Okay, answer is yes. Because yes is also, how should I put it? It's not a number that is plucked from the sky. So there are certifications, there are independent certifications in the market, such as BBA. BBA is from UK, British Board of Agreement. So BBA was certified products, and they will actually provide the expected lifespan. So example, if you have a BBA from, let's say, company ABC with product XYZ, they will actually indicate in the BBA what is the expected lifespan. And so far, a lot of time, the expected lifespan is more than 25 years, 30 years. Okay. But then again, coming back to cost, there is always a component of cost involved. The longer you want the warranty, the higher will be the cost. So it's a balance between a cost and also a warranty. And of course, not all products will last 20 years, right? There are products out there, they are designed, for example, 10 years, 12 years. So it's really very dependent on the product, whether that particular product can last 20 or years or X number of years which you require.
Great. So I guess the first few questions have been a bit, what would you say, a bit general. I see on the live questions here, there's some very specific requests for advice, but I'll take one from the previous, from those who have submitted earlier. Excuse me. Which would be, is there a correct way to terminate rooftop waterproofing where there is equipment plinth?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. I do not have the detailed drawings now here with me, but you can write to us. My QR code is and my email is right on the screen right now. You can write to us. We will provide you with the detailed drawings for these plain areas. We actually have a couple of methods of doing. So yeah, just feel free to write to me. I'll reply to you.
Okay, excellent. So free consultation with you then, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. So another question here would be, what are the pros and cons for different waterproofing systems for roofing? But I guess this was already earlier answered in your presentation where
Yes,
you using the different materials. So let's skip
correct.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's see. Critical areas to look out for when enveloping a building.
Critical areas to look out for
To
when,
look out
sorry?
for when you are enveloping a building. What are some
Enveloping a
areas?
building.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe this was also covered during the webinar. So just to recap, the main areas, your roofs, your wet areas comprise of your toilets, showers, swimming pool if you have, water tanks. Okay, then your water retaining structure is water tank, your ground slab, and your basement. I think these are the main critical areas that we need to look out for.
All right. Okay. I think some of the questions that has been coming in live was in response to some of your answers. So let me just take the first one, which was again about the old buildings from Jaden. I hope I got your name right. I didn't murder that. But for old buildings, there are probably different paint coatings applied on the building. Does Nippon Paint suggest to remove these old paints every time you do a facade painting? If yes, how do you remove this old paint?
Okay, we will do a site inspection, right? We have a team of technical department here, where we will visit the site. We will examine the current condition of the paint. If it needs to be removed, then yeah, we will have to remove it. We also have our paint remover, but at this point of time, I can't tell you yes or no without looking at the site. But to answer your question, yes, it is possible for both. Either we remove the paint and we reapply, or we can apply a primer over the existing paint, and after that we apply the waterproofing. So it's really very dependent on the site. One site doesn't mean I can copy the same solution for the rest.
Yeah, it really depends on how much exposure that particular facade has had to the elements and all. Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's right. And the condition of the current paint.
Okay, so let me go a bit into a bit more specific questions. So here's one from Felix. What type of waterproofing application would you advise for existing metal roof where mounting frames are mounted on the trapezoidal profile to prevent water leaking? It's very specific there.
Okay. Again, without looking or without assessing the site right now, for metal roofs, normally we will use the acrylic coating to apply over it. So you can use acrylic, or we can also use a spray apply. So either one, I mean, if without looking at the site, either one of these will be our first proposal that we can propose. Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, yes, it is possible for us to treat it.
Now, here's another one asking about it's a very specific question. Is PU coating recommended for ponding water or swimming pool?
For ponding water, okay, a ponding water, I guess you could be referring to water retaining structures. If that is the case, yes, it is. However, normally in Singapore context, we do not really use PU for water retaining structures. Reason being, we are afraid of the bonding between the protection screen or the tile adhesive over the PU. So in that case, in Singapore context, to be safe, we will actually use flexible cementations. So you have a cement to cement substrate. That means on your structure, when we apply the flexible cementitious waterproofing, it's cement to cement. So we will ensure that the bonding is proper. After that, when you have your tile adhesive or even your protection screen, it is also a cement base. So with that, we are assured that the bonding is well and it will not cause any tile to fall off or delamination in the future. But
if the water structure does not have tiles,
okay, then yeah, PU is fine.
It's fine. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So your cementitious solution is really because if you are adhering something else, another material to the side walls for aesthetic purposes and stuff.
That's right.
Okay, great. Now another very specific question here. Free consultation by Eugene here. Yeah. Now Nippon. Sorry. Let me just it jumped here. Okay. What would you recommend to waterproof clip lock roof, skylight, RC roof, metal drain, roof gutters? A bit similar to an earlier question here.
Yes, a bit similar. Okay. Generally, it's back to either the acrylic or the PU. Yep. Or we can use the spray as well. Yeah.
Right. And again, similar to one of the swimming pool question, right? What product would be recommended for water potable water tank?
Oh, potable water tank. Okay. Potable water tank. There are quite a number of products you can use. You just have to ensure that the product is either tested to SS375. So as long there is a test method, test standards to adhere to. So if the product is certified to SS375, you are assured that it can be used for potable water tanks.
So there's no leaking to the water. It's still safe for consumption. Yeah.
Correct. So we ensure that the product does not leach into human drinking water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you
so
mentioned
this is
something.
quite simple. Just ensure you have the test certification.
Have the test certification. All right. Now you mentioned something. Yes, there's a popularity of roof gardens and also for your roof garden waterproofing. Majority of the time of water seepages are caused by root penetration. So the Adrian is asking, what is the pressure resistance that the proof seal can offer for this?
Okay, for roof garden, we are not looking at pressure resistance, but we are looking at root penetration. So for Nippon Paint's products, our products are certified either to FLL, which is a German testing standard for root penetration, or EN 13948. So as long your products are tested, or even Nippon Paint's, our product are tested to this, you can be assured that the roots or even the rhizomes from plants and trees will not penetrate through the membrane.
Eugene, you can remember all these test standards offhand. Yeah, you remember all the numbers.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's a question, and I find this question really interesting, right? Among the different types of waterproofing solutions, would any particular type make it more difficult for construction and demolition waste to be recycled at the end of a building life? This is really important because we're looking at more circular economy for the construction industry, right? So what kind of waterproofings and how will that impact the construction and demolition waste for recycling?
Okay, this one, I don't think I'm an expert in this area, but what I will know is that products such as PVC, polyvinyl chloride, base of waterproofing membranes, they are recyclable, and certain products that we have actually are certified to EPD, so Environmental Product Declaration, where it is mentioned from the factory all the way until the end of life. The product can be recycled. So that is one of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the EPD for every product, so I apologize if I'm unable to answer that part of the question.
No worries. I think, but this is an interesting thing. I think it's something that Nippon can also look into. It's something that we can educate the industry with, further in further.
Yes, definitely. Of course.
Sure. Okay, so the questions here about sharing the presentation slides with participants. Yes, I believe Eugene will be sharing the slides with them after this. The slides
They
are
can
not
contact
confidential.
certain of the slides are confidential, but no worries. You can contact me and we can see how we can support from that.
That's great. Okay,
Yep.
now here we come back to a question about warranty. Product warranty, you mentioned earlier that some can be 10 years, some can be up to 25 years. Interesting question here would be, what would happen after the warranty is over?
Okay, I think warranty, okay, let's put warranty aside. So it's whether warranty is just a piece of paper, right? Whether the product can last or not, I think that is a more important question. So while in order, okay, not to put anybody down, but the warranty, like I said, if your building is leaking and the contractor just come back and rectify, the contractor himself is actually honoring the warranty by coming back to rectify. But the question now is, are you comfortable as a homeowner or as a building owner? Are you comfortable with repairs every now and then, where contractors need to access, example, your house every month to do the repair? I think it's clear cut that nobody wants that. So warranty aside, let's say earlier, more importantly is choosing the right product, a proven product that can actually last, give you a problem-free building, give you a peace of mind. Yeah. And one thing about, okay, most of the waterproofing products, I say good performance product, yeah, it will last you easily more than 10 years, right? It's something like, example, your home appliances, your television, right? A TV can last you 5 years, 10 years, but the warranty is probably 1 year or 2 years. But the product still lasts, you see. So, yeah, so if you get certifications such as earlier on, I say BBA, where they have already ensured that the product can last you minimum X number of years, that is probably good enough. And of course, workmanship plays a part. So not only the product, I can give you the best product, but if the workers that is installing it is inexperienced, then problems will come again, right? Example, if you give a new driver a Ferrari to drive, most likely it will crash compared to a seasoned driver. So both part, the product as well as the installation actually comes hand in hand.
Yeah, I think that's really true, right? I mean, it starts from the very beginning, making sure you're not just looking at the warranty of the product, but you're having a proper consultation to make sure that this is the right product for the right application. And,
Exactly.
because if you're not using the right one, you can have a 25-year warranty, but it's not designed for the application. It may not even last the 25 years.
You are absolutely right, Swami.
And of course, I just watched Furious 10 yesterday. So yes, I won't be able to drive a Ferrari. I'll probably crash it. Okay. So here's a question from Adrian. Which product can be used to address walls with visible efflorescence?
Visible efflorescence. Okay. Okay. This may not be a waterproofing issue per se, but Nippon Paint, we developed two products that actually can arrest efflorescence issue. This is very, very new. We are developing it and we are going to launch it very soon. Other than to address efflorescence, these two products that we have also can tackle negative waterproofing. So coming back to just now, the topic of the old building, the wall if it's leaking, right? Other than a slurry applied crystallization, which Nippon Paint has, and also a lot of other competitors out there have, we have this proprietary product where once you apply internally, it is designed to actually arrest the leak on the negative side. Then after that, you can actually paint on the surface itself. So not to worry where, some owners, they are concerned, oh, if you come in with a waterproofing product, you only have selected number of colors. and the color is not what I want in my own house. My own house, I have a theme, and I would like to follow the theme. So Nippon Paint, we developed this product with this in mind. So not only do we arrest the water leakage, the dampness, but after that, you can actually paint our paint directly on the product itself to give you the color that you choose.
Okay, which brings me to the next question here from Terence, right? I think a lot of people have understood Nippon Paint as a paint manufacturer. When was this waterproofing division developed, and how long has this division been around?
Okay, if you are looking at Nippon Paint as a whole, that means not only Singapore, waterproofing has been around for more than 5 or 7 years. In fact, one of the bigger projects that our counterparts in China did was the Hong Kong, Macau, and Zhuhai bridge. So one of the longest bridge that was using our polyurea, Nippon Paint's polyurea waterproofing product. In Singapore, we started waterproofing approximately 2 years ago. So that is Singapore. But as a group, we have more than that.
I see. So it is something that you've done major projects, even about 7 years, but you've done major projects in China using your waterproofing products. So
Correct.
definitely there's no worry about confidence levels of your products at all.
No, definitely not. Yep.
Definitely, right. And this is, again, not really related to waterproofing, but I thought I'll just bring it in because I remember Nippon Paint, when you were exhibiting last year, you probably had talked about this. Is there a roof paint product that is able to significantly reduce indoor heat?
Yes, we do. It's called the Solar Reflect Roof Seal Waterproofing.
Yes, and I remember you were presenting that at one of you. I wasn't sure if it's you, but I think it was someone from Nippon Paint was presenting that at PAX Asia last year.
Correct. My colleague Lily.
Lily, yes, right.
Yes.
Okay, so we are kind of short of time, but this, I must say, has been one of the most active Q&A sessions for all the sessions that I've done. We've had a total of, I think, close to 21 questions in total. So for those of you who we have not been able to answer the questions, don't worry. We have these questions recorded. And what we will do is we'll be sending these questions over to Eugene. Eugene will be able to follow up with you over email to answer these questions, because some of these questions I see are pretty specific. And I think it will benefit from Eugene having to have a bit more in-depth conversation with you on your needs and all, right? But I think just one very final question here from Ms. Spencer is, how do we get Nippon Paint to do the specifications for our project, and is this a chargeable process?
Okay, contact us, contact me. My contact details on the screen. And no, this process of helping with the specifications, with the detailed drawings and the hatching plan, these are all non-obligatory. Yeah, non-chargeable and non-obligatory. It's just a service we want to provide to the architects.
And I think you mentioned that earlier. You will show the different zones using what different products.
That's right. That's right. Correct. Because we also want to assist as much as we can, like you said earlier, Suhaimi, get the right product from the start.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is where we want to share our knowledge, our experience and expertise in it. So yeah, just contact me. I will get my specification team to actually liaise with you from there.
That sounds great. Now, Eugene, I guess that brings us to the end of this masterclass today. Eugene, any final words for our audience here today?
Stay safe. Very hot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
okay.
Seriously, thank you for attending this seminar. It's a short seminar due to the time, and if you need a more in-depth example lunch and learn presentation, where we will focus a lot and share on what Nippon Paint product is, instead of just like today is very general. So we can share what is our products, how we actually, what's the rationale, for example, what's the rationale when we design, how we choose a product for your particular project. So we, like you said earlier, we have wide range of product. When do we use example for the roof? When do we use liquid apply? When do we use a preform membrane? So that is where we will share in depth. Yeah, so you can contact us, and we'll be happy to come to your office to share this information with you and your team.
Yes, and Eugene definitely comes across as someone who knows what he's talking about. He can remember all the standards and the numbers. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Eugene. And ladies and gentlemen,
You're
that is
most
all
welcome.
that we have for this session today. So once again, thank you very much for taking your time to attend. Do check out BEX Asia's social media page to find out more about our final webinar in June. And don't forget to join us in person at the BEX Asia exhibition on 6 to 8 September at the Sense Expo and Convention Center. Until then, stay safe and hydrate well. As Eugene says, it's a very hot period here. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening ahead.